Southside Flyers snatched a victory from the jaws of defeat.
Round 10 of the WNBL season continues in the Harbour City. The Sydney Uni Flames hosting the Townsville Fire. The Fire are at full strength and have an excellent recent record over the Flames, winning 10 of the past 11 games between the two sides. But they run into a Sydney team that is missing key players, but won't be missing any spirit or any pluck. A good crowd in attendance at the Qudos Bank Arena for this one. Welcome to our coverage here on KO Sports of the Women's National Basketball League. Ben Waterworth with you alongside former WNBL Coach of the Year and someone who's watched more WNBL games in the history of the league, Laurie Chiswick. Laurie, fantastic to be alongside you for the first of our double header on KO Sports today. The Townsville Fire and the Sydney Uni Flames both coming off losses, but the Fire look pretty strong today.
Well, I agree with you, Ben. I think you'd have to say that the Fire are red-hot favorites. They're all healthy. They're all fit. Nobody's missing. They've got a real star-studded lineup. But for Sydney, yes, they are depleted. But you know what? That means they can just play loose. There's no pressure on them. There's no expectation on them. So that's sort of a fun way to play. In Townsville, the pressure on them is that they need to win this game to stay in touch with that top four group. Well,
let's have a look at the ladder as it sits as we head into, we're halfway through round 10 of the WNBL season now. And you mentioned the Townsville Fire, Laurie. They currently sit fifth. They're one win behind the Adelaide Lightning. Gosh, how quickly can the WNBL change when the Adelaide Lightning, humming a couple of weeks ago, now find themselves fourth on the ladder. Hence why it's so important for the Fire to get that victory today, because those top four teams are looking pretty strong.
Well, they are, and also, Ben, the fact that the season due to COVID has been shortened now so that they're only playing 18 games instead of 21. We're virtually at the halfway mark of our season right now, so you need to stay in touch. You need to get those W's on the board. So Townsville will be really keen to make that happen today.
Can you rule a line between 5th and 6th in terms of the teams 6th, 7th, 8th can't make the finals now?
Well, you hate to do that, but I really think that is realistic, especially with the injury to Abby Bishop to Southside Flyers. That really hurts them, and with 6 losses already, it's going to be tough for them to crawl up that ladder.
So important for the Townsville Fire today to get that victory at the Qudos Bank Arena. They'll certainly fancy themselves against the Sydney Uni Flames, but there's still 4 quarters of basketball to play out before us on a Sunday afternoon. Good crowd in attendance at the Qudos Bank Arena for this crucial round 10 clash between the Flames and the Fire. And let's have a look at the Flames to start off with, Laurie. And it's a very different looking lineup to what we've seen in previous weeks under the guidance of Shane Heal. Daughter Shyla not there due to Opal's commitments, and Lauren Mansfield could miss the rest of the season with a calf injury, which means 2 young guns step up in the starting 5.
Well, that's really unfortunate for Lauren, and we wish her well in her recovery. But what an opportunity for Morgan Yeager and Funda Nagasoglu. We know she started last week in the absence of Mansfield, and she was a gun. She scored 17 points. She's used to playing only 8 minutes a game, and here she is finding herself starting. So that's a great opportunity for those 2 young players to fill that starting role.
At the other end of the floor, the Townsville Fire, they're at full strength. It's an intimidating starting 5, and interesting that Steph Reed has got the gig in the starting 5 ahead of Mia Murray today, Laurie.
Well, often, as a coach, you think of a starting 6. Anybody out of those 6 can start, and I feel like Reed falls into that category. But if you look at that lineup, this is the most settled of all the lineups I feel in the WNBL. And now you look at Mia Murray coming off the bench with the likes of Nadine Payne, Michaela Cox, McSpadden. So they've got some depth in there, and they will be ready to go and try and get this W this afternoon.
Referees for proceedings today, Guy Richards, Haley Cole and Byron Geddes will be overseeing this contest. If you're Shane Heal and the Sydney Uni Flames, Laurie, as we tick down towards tip-off here, what's the best way to approach this game? Knowing that they're depleted from a personnel perspective, what would you be saying to the girls just before tip-off?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think possession is really important. So you want to make sure that you get a good shot every time down the floor, whether it goes in or not, but you give yourself that opportunity. So really take care of the ball. Really take care of the little things like blocking out, diving on loose balls, the things that you can control. I wouldn't necessarily get into a real fast run and gun game because I just don't think they've got the personnel to do that. So slow and steady, but really take care of the ball and play that possession game.
Yeah, we see the starting 5 there for the Townsville Fires. Tina Rakuso and Lauren Nicholson, part of the Opals training squad during the past week. Didn't make the final cut of 12, but they are certainly on the cusp as we get this one underway. The Flames and the Fires on a Sunday in Sydney. Great to have you with us wherever you're watching on KO Sports. These two teams have already played once this year. The Fire winning 75-56. So they come in with ample confidence as Akuzo gives the look-away pass there. Billings has been in hot form, and she starts with a hot mid-range two to get scoring underway.
You know, there was nothing wrong with that defense there. That was just better offense, better shooting from Billings, who we know is a superstar.
Sitting fourth in the league at the moment for points per game, Monique Billings putting her hand up as a contender for MVP. So here's our look at some of these newer guards, fresher guards. Nakasoglu as Keely Froling runs the play here, tries to kick it out towards Purcell. It has to put up a tough three. Hits the rim, and that is deemed to be off Fire hands, so they'll have another opportunity here for Sydney Uni Flames.
I thought Kiara Rowe did a good job of just going after that offensive rebound and competing, and now we see that their teammate has the ball.
Froling patrolling the perimeter here, guarded by Akuzo. Going to be interesting to sort of see those two go to work today as Froling drives hard inside, cops some contact, and will head to the line to shoot two. A good opportunity for Keely Froling to find some form. Had a really good start to the season, averaged 14 points in her first 3 games. Just the last 3 games, though, averaging 9 points, 27% from the field, and 5 turnovers per game. So, an opportunity for one of the best young talents in Australian basketball.
Well, you would think that Keely Froling and Purcell are going to have to step up in not only the points, but defensively and in leadership. It's a young group out there, and they're the most experienced players.
Five won their past 5 straight games against the Flames, and 10 of their past 11.
Sorry, Ben, it doesn't surprise me that I see Sydney coming out in a zone.
Reed for 3. Beautiful, splashes it in, and the Fire off to a hot start.
That's a good reward for Steph Reed for stepping into that starting lineup.
She created her own highlights reel last week in the game against the Melbourne Boomers. Didn't come up with a victory ultimately, but some serious standout performances. Jaeger hands off here for Kira Rowe. And there's 7 to shoot. Froling now, trying to work her way inside again. She does, and again able to draw the contact as Akuzo is called for the foul.
I like her mindset right now, Keely Froling, attacking the rim, getting her eyes up there.
26 years of age, Keely Froling, playing in game number 121 in the WNBL. In 2020, she was part of the Opals team that won bronze at the Asia Cup.
And we can see that Akuzo with her second foul, you know, that's a pretty telling factor that early in the game.
And so she's taken a seat. Nadine Payne looks like she's come onto the floor for the Fire. Coach Shannon Seabohm in the changes early. There is Payne handing off for Nicholson, lobbing it inside for Billings, who's got 3 to beat. Reed thought about the 3, then went the mid-range 2, missed it, then got their own offensive rebound. So much determination and grit she plays with. Speaking of grit and determination, Lauren Nicholson gets the 2. Early 5-point advantage for the Fire. Nicholson, one of the best defensive players in the competition. Almost able to force the turnover. As again, the Flames think their way through on offense. Rowe, Purcell, knocked away there by Payne. Still 5 seconds on the shot clock here for the Sydney Uni Flames.
The Flames have a lot of movement, a lot of player movement on offense, which is good, shifting the defense around. Have a look at the matchup with Steph Reed and Nagasoglu. She is wearing her like a glove.
Purcell, not too long to shoot. Beautiful pass from Purcell to Froling. Excellent chemistry from the Flames. Froling has all 4 of Sydney Uni's points early. Nice little confidence booster for both Purcell and Froling as Nicholson fires and misses the deep 2. And that's determined off Billings' hands, so the Flames can reload from their backcourt.
Just a nice little curl cut and find of her teammate.
Froling with the 4 points, 2 of 4 from the free throw line to start off with. She's averaging the 10 points per game this year, Keely Froling. at 30% from the field. This is Diebel on the court now for the Flames, having her first run at it this season. Purcell wants it on the baseline. Guarded here by Payne again, kicking it out. Nakasoglu works her way into the key, just falling short. And the Flames looking promising on offense at the moment. Nicholson. Shot comes out there from Sutton. He's just off target, but Billings is there to pick up the offensive rebound. Fading away and well off target in the end.
It's great to see a player like Katie Diebel coming on the court so early in the game. She's a development player, and you know, to have this opportunity. She's the daughter of John Diebel, the baseball superstar for Australia, and it's great to see that she's getting some early action.
We'll see lots of different players, you think, from the Flames getting minutes that normally wouldn't get minutes. Shane Hill will be turning to his bench a fair bit. Here is Diebel. Promising drive inside, and she's got her first points.
A lot of poise on that drive. There were so few players that were, you know, getting their bodies in there to try and stop that.
They're a tough team to knock over, the Flames. They might have only won the one game so far this season, but they really make their opposition earn their victories, and they force the turnover here. Diebel again in amongst it.
Well, one thing I've always been impressed about is that they have some good defense. So regardless of what players are missing, you can still have your defensive principles in place in what you do. It's just, where's your scoring going to come from?
Diebel, Purcell, Rowe for three.
And there it is. There it's coming from Kira Rowe. Great shot.
With Steph Blitzards last week, or recently for the Kira Rowe game on the Sydney Uni Flames, and she talked about how good Rowe is from the corner in the three-point territory, and we wasn't quite tucked up in the corner there. She was good to get the three, and there's Kalani Purcell, second time lucky, forcing the steal, and the Fire a bit stunned in the last few minutes. The Flames really taking it up to them. Frolling again, trying to work her way inside, spinning, and can't quite get the two to go, but Billings is grabbing it, but she may have got some contact, so sigh of relief there for the Fire. They've conceded the last few field goals.
And that's the thing, you know, we said at the beginning is it's about defensively getting those stops and then just being patient on offense. See, that's just great active hands by Kalani Purcell and her persistence in keeping following through with that. That's
Purcell personified. This is her ability to put pressure on the opposition, perceive pressure as well. Easy passes when she's in the vicinity. She's guarding Billings here, and Billings works away inside and then gets the two to drop, and she'll head to the line for an extra.
That's just Billings, if you can see here, just using her smarts and her strength and body position, just no question there.
Leszewski there is on the court for Sydney Uni Flames. The switch there with Purcell on defense and allowed Billings to get the two and make it a three-point play. Monique Billings averaging the 18 points per game, 75% free throw shooter. The Fire have upped the ante defensively here as he passed from the inbounds. Rowe underneath the basket, and Murray is called for the foul, much to her surprise, and Kira Rowe will be heading to the line.
That's on number 10, Via Murray, her first. Fourth team foul.
So what I liked about that was Kira Rowe made a really hard cut and was expecting the basketball. Sometimes players make cuts and they're just cutting for the sake of cutting, but she was cutting to score, and it was a great pass to her.
Her minutes have increased almost every game, Kira Rowe. She started at 13 in round one. Last week she had 35. So it's good to see, and that she's getting some opportunities really under Shane Hill. She's been in the league for a number of seasons. This is game number 78 for her. On the Southside Flyers Rookie of the Year back in 2017-18 as Billings gets the lucky roll. She's up to 7 points for the Fire. Purcell working with Diebel here. Rowe again, this time guarded by Payne. Purcell getting some of her own medicine with some defensive attention there from Billings. Long shot from Nakasoglu, who's had an excellent handle so far this season from the field. And Billings, thinking about the alley-oop, then goes to reverse. She's a joy to watch.
Oh, that is so athletic. The timing of that jump and just the soft hands to catch it and finish.
9 points, 3 boards early stages for the American International. Fire with a 3-point lead. 3.5 to play. Purcell cuts it inside, out for Nakasoglu, who sets and knocks it down. She's deadly from that range.
Well, that shot did not hit the rim. That was straight through.
She's gone 100% from the field in their last 2 games, which have yielded 10 points and 17 points. Funda Nakasoglu, she's been freed, and we're better for it in the WNBL, seeing her have a good run on the floor.
I saw that stat line from her last game, 100% everything. That was pretty amazing.
4 of 4 from 3-point territory as Blazejewski goes inside. Rowe gets the rebound and gives the Flames a fresh 14. Nakasoglu for 3. Knocks it down! Funda has been freed, and isn't it wonderful?
That is just so great to see when a player is just let loose and said, given the green light, and her teammates are feeding her.
It's a beautiful stroke, isn't it?
It is, you know, and it shouldn't surprise us. She's always been like that. Yeah. You know, we worked with her as a junior, and she's, you know, Michelle Timms has worked with her and her shot, and, you know, last year she lit it up as well. So we shouldn't be surprised, but it's so great to see.
So she's 2 of 3 so far from triple territory in this game. And coming into this game, Nakasoglu was 6 of 7 from beyond the arc. So she's going pretty efficiently at the moment. And Shane Heal, you have to say, be pretty satisfied, Laurie, with what his team's done so far.
Well, absolutely. They've been impressive at both ends of the floor, defensively, sort of taking Townsville a little bit out of their rhythm, or at least keeping them at bay and having really active hands. And offensively, they haven't stood still. They've moved. They've got the ball through hands and taken their opportunities.
Just see Lauren Mansfield as well. She's just at the back of that there in the jumper. And she is just in the top left of your screen. Such a shame that she won't be out there, Lauren Mansfield, as she makes her way to the bench. She was expected to miss 8 weeks at first sort of initial diagnosis that she was going to miss 8 weeks with a pretty significant calf injury. It's a tear to the left calf tendon, and that's requiring some significant rest and rehabilitation. She's hopeful that she might get some games later in the season, but she'll be missing certainly for the foreseeable future for the Sydney Uni Flames. As Reed goes into the corner, and Mia Murray, normally so reliable, just off target. The Flames lead by 3 with 2.5 to play. Mahady on the court for the Flames. The young guns getting a look as Nakasoglu is heavily met. Foul might have came just before Nakasoglu was dealt with as well.
Townsville foul, number 32, Michaela Cox.
Cox called for the foul. They've been for the arm just over the shoulder. Michaela Cox, game number 232, the 35-year-old, and Nakasoglu is at the line. Very good at the free throw line. 78% free throw shooter so far this season, and she has now 8 points for the Flames, who have 19. And it's playing out like it did in these two teams' earlier meeting, where the Flames had a very good start to the game. They were 18-12 they led at quarter time, then the Fire came back across the last 3 quarters as Cox shoots an air ball.
Well, the thing is that their zone is doing a really good job. Townsville just aren't finding their range at all yet, so they're 1 from 4 from the 3-point line, so the zone is working.
Froling has a shot for 3 and knocks it down. The Flames are hot.
That was a bit cheeky, just glancing down to see where her feet were at that 3-point line. I love it.
Considering she'd also gone 1 of 16 so far this season from her previous 3-ball attempts. Keely Froling. What a start from the Flames. 22-14 the score. Mia Murray able to break the scoring drought for the Fire. It's certainly against the flow, though. Murray with her first field goal of the afternoon. Juski now wants a cut from Nagasoglu. Why not when she's so hot? No foul called. She misses a rare field goal. And Reed at the other end is fouled. We saw a couple of awesome Euro steps from Steph Reed last week, and she was denied an opportunity there. And the foul call with 1 minute on the clock in the first quarter. There is Froling, checking, knocking it down. She's had a good start to the game. Keely Froling, she's got 7 points. The Fire on offense here. Payne looking to go inside to Billings. Sutton getting around Mahady and stepping back. And then Billings, just determination there to get the two. And as well, the two came after the offensive rebound. She's got 9.
That was just a little bit too easy, the way she was able to get around Keely Frawley and finish that layup.
Correction, she's now got 11 Billings. That's 11 of 18 the Fire's score. Froling, determination, again trying to work her way to the rack. And that one drops on the second chance. And the Flames continue to extend their lead, and there's now no shot clock left. Sutton, Cox, the Fire a bullet late as we tick towards quarter time. Sutton for Cox from the corner, can't get it to go. Rebound for Murray, she ran out of time. Points won't count. What a start by the Sydney Uni Flames. They lead the Townsville Fire 24-18. Shane Hill will be stoked. Shannon Seabom's got a bit to think about. Second quarter action coming up in just a few moments.
Everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. Until we dunk, hell yeah. When we roll onto the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
Basketball being one of the most popular sports in the world, a game that anyone can be involved in, which is why Aussie Hoops is basketball's national junior participation program that introduces kids aged 5 to 10 to the beautiful sport of basketball. They learn and improve their fundamental movement skills, the basics of teamwork, but more importantly, they have ample fun and make lots of friends as well. So head to that website on your screen now, aussiehoops.basketball/find a program to visit the Aussie Hoops locator, because registrations for Term 1 programs are now open, and there's plenty of kids in the building supporting the Flames, and they'd be absolutely stoked with what their team has put together so far, as would coach Shane Hill. The Flames 24, the Fire 18. Ben Waterworth with you alongside the great Laurie Chiswick. Did you expect this, Laurie?
Well, I did say I wanted Sydney to take care of the basketball, and they have 0 turnovers that quarter, so tick for them, well done. And, their zone's working. They're 1 from 5, Townsville, so tick again. I'd like to see Townsville be a little bit more aggressive. They've only got to the foul line once, so they're sort of settling for some outside shots, and I think they need to be a bit more aggressive in their approach.
Well, as I mentioned beforehand, the Townsville Fire had a slow start the last time these two sides met. They were down by 6 in that game. Then the Fire won the next 3 quarters. So important for the Flames that they continue this momentum at the start of the second quarter. First quarters have been a problem for the Fire in recent weeks. They've been down by 16, 6 and 12 points in their past 3 games at quarter time. And they find themselves down by 6 as the Flames get a fresh 14 seconds here. Deeble lobbing it inside. There's a foul that will be taken from the baseline here. That might have been Beck Pizzi copping some contact underneath the rim.
The foul is on the Fire's number 12, Nadine Payne.
And Payne is called for the foul. Just a reminder that Zatina Rakuzo had 2 fouls to her name within the first 90 seconds of this match, and I still don't think she hasn't reappeared on the court since.
And that's tough. I mean, she's a big presence inside, offensively and defensively, and so they're really missing her right now.
Diebel putting up the three. Froling almost got the offensive rebound. A foul is called, though, on the Fire. Payne flabbergasted, though, on the call. Let's have a look on replay. Unless the ball hit her on the back while she has stepped on the baseline. That's pretty unfortunate. Beautiful pass inside from Diebel for Blazewski, who can't quite get the two to go, and Murray comes up with the rebound. Nicholson, Sutton, Payne, Murray for three. The veteran can't get that one to go, and the Flames come up with an important stop. Early stages here, the second quarter from Qudos Bank Arena. Turnover, though, off the Froling pass. That's their first one of the game. And Sutton makes them pay at the other end.
I'm glad Sutton's getting involved because she's been pretty quiet that first quarter, and they need her. She can do lots. She's got, you know, lots of skills, and we need to see some of those.
Diebel. Haiti for three. Looked good off the hand. Just off target in the end. And can Sutton go to work? Quiet first quarter, as Laurie mentioned. Murray.
You see, I'm not too keen on those last two shots that Mia Murray took. The ball has not moved. She was well out from the three-point line. Yep. Easy rebound for Sydney, and they're back playing defense now.
Now, quick shots as well. Wasn't a lot of time used up in on the shot clock, but there's Billings able to force the turnover, and that's another basket from the Fire after Sydney Uni Flames turnovers.
Billings has 13 of their 22 points. She's very influential in this game.
6 of 7 from the field. Billings as well. Beautiful pass inside. Blazewski has a chance and reverses it in. That's better.
Tell you what, these young kids are really having a crack out there. They're doing a great job. You can see they're talking, they're pointing in their zone.
Billings, so tough underneath the basket. And she cops some contact, and we're heading to the free throw line to shoot two.
Flames foul number 8, Beck Busy, her first.
That's the thing with Monique Billings. She is so strong and athletic. You just can't let her get positioned like that inside the paint. Very hard for when she gets the ball to try and defend that, as Beck Pizzi did.
4th in the league for points per game, 6th for rebounds, 3rd for steals. Monique Billings, having a terrific campaign so far. The last time these two sides met, she had 21 points, 8 of 9 from the field, and 9 rebounds. So she had a day out against the Flames last time, and she's picking up from where she left off in that game. She's got 14 to date with 4 boards. Make it 15. Purcell for Froling, and that's the second time those two have combined efficiently.
Great connection and great movement by Froling. So the ball went in low post to Purcell, and she dove to the basket. It's like they're on a string together, and a nice pass, a nice find.
At the other end, though, the Fire able to hit back very quickly, and they force the tough pass from the inbounds as well. The Fire just hanging around at the moment, not letting the Sydney Uni Flames get too far ahead on the scoreboard. Diebel, Nakasoglu drives inside, lost control, but she was fouled as she tried to drive her way in into Nakasoglu.
That was a nice move by Funda in that at the end of a shot clock, she's known to be a three-point shooter, so they would have played for that. So to be able to put it on the floor and draw a foul and get yourself to the foul line, great option.
So Funda Nakasoglu now has 10 points. That's the 3rd consecutive game where she's reached double figures for the Sydney Uni Flames.
Number 3, Stephanie Reed.
We've still got 26.5 minutes of hoops left in this one.
I reckon she'll pass her 17 mark that she made last game.
Reed back on the floor. Payne. Sutton. Still no Akuzo for The Fire as Sutton pulls up for the mid-range two, can't get it to go. Another rebound for Billings, another tough two. She's putting on a masterclass underneath the rack today. Purcell at the other end. Backing down on Payne, losing control. As quick hands on display once again. Nakasoglu got it by Sutton, finds a way through, kicks it out. Rowe loves a three, falling short though. And Sutton get busy for the Fire. Works her way into the paint, trying to work with her fellow import there in Billings, and it's off her hands, and it'll be a Sydney Uni Flames from the baseline. But a timeout has been called at the Qudos Bank Arena. Entertaining start to this one. 30 points to 29 in favour of the Sydney Uni Flames. The Flames won just one game so far this year. The Fire have won 4, sitting just outside the top 4. But at the moment, Laurie, you wouldn't know that it's 7th v 5th on the ladder.
Well, you wouldn't, and you wouldn't know that Sydney's depleted without Shyla Hill and Lauren Mansfield. They're playing great team basketball. They're making good decisions out there. They're having a mix of, you know, perimeter shots and inside shots. The fact they got Akuzo on 2 really early fouls was good. So they've been very impressive. I have no doubt that Townsville is, you know, that's the challenge when a more talented team plays a team like Sydney who are depleted, that, you know, the challenge is for Sydney to just keep that intensity up for the 4 quarters.
Yep.
And Townsville, no doubt, will lift at some stage.
Yeah, and two different age demographics, the two teams as well. Predominantly younger team, the Sydney Uni Flames, compared to a few more wiser heads on the Townsville Fire lineup. And as a younger team, Laurie, in almost any sport, it's always hard to maintain full game intensity if you're slightly younger.
Well, I think that's what happened in their last game against Southside. You know, they were up by 15 points with 5 minutes to go. And the experience of the Rachel, Jerry, Jenna O'Hay, Cole just came to the fore. And Sydney, the youngsters didn't know how to combat that. And you know, Southside came away with that 3-point win.
Kozjowski with the inbounds pass here to Kira Rowe. Terrific to see these young Flames players stepping up on the WNBL stage on a Sunday afternoon on their home floor. Nakasoglu turns it over. Nicely grasped by Woods, who got the steal but can't hit the 3, but Reed will give the Fire another fresh 14 seconds here. This is where Steph Reed goes to work. It's where she's at her absolute best. Billings raising up a wonderful tip-in.
I'll tell you what, right now, Townsville are riding on the coattails of Monique Billings.
19 of Townsville's 31 points have gone the way of Billings. No one else has scored more than 3 on the Townsville Fire side.
And 4 of those are from offensive rebounds of misses from her teammates. So
Purcell, though, responds at the other end. Ample lead changes in this one. Sutton, Payne for 3. Can't get that one to go. Good box out, though, from Woods to get the offensive rebound. And they go to work again, the Fire. Reed gets the screen. There's a foul called before the drive inside, though, from Steph Reed.
The foul to number 3, Flames, Nakasoglu, her second.
Nakasoglu is called for the foul. There is Monique Billings at her athletic best.
Into the game for the Flames, number 9, Katie Diebel, for Qudos.
Sutton. Woods. Reed. Crossing over. The ball control from Steph Reed, outstanding. Did all the hard work, but couldn't finish at the rack. Just a glimpse, once again, of how good Steph Reed could be as Billings read that pass from pass to Purcell superbly, and goes to work herself. Banks it off the glass. This is outstanding hoops from Monique Billings.
Well, we've seen it all from her, and just her ability to score just in different ways and manners.
21 points with just over 3.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Quite remarkable what Monique Billings is doing and playing genuinely a lone hand for her side offensively at the moment.
That is assist to number 14. Maria Wojcicki, her second personal.
Do you want to take a guess, Ben, of what her final score count will be?
Oh, this is good, Laurie.
It's always you guys asking us what our tips are and whatever.
Like the natural tendency to get caught up in the momentum is to say 40. I'll say 37. Payne hits the three. It's going to be hard for Billings to keep on scoring if Nadine Payne gets hot from beyond the arc. And Townsville just get a couple of buckets in a row here to retake the lead by 4. Purcell. Guarded closely by Billings. Froling. She's got the hot hand from deep. Opts not to use it. Kira Rowe. Tough shot. That may have been a hand in there from Sutton. Nice defense from the American international there. Allows Reed to go to work. And that is tough. But that is outstanding from Steph Reed.
Well, you can just see the steadying players of Townsville just stretching out that lead a little bit.
Just gone to another gear in the past few minutes, the Fire. But there's Purcell, again looking for the Froling cut. Didn't quite come off this time. Reed gets to work. Sutton to Billings, foul calls. And the team chemistry on offense is just starting to click here for the Fire.
Well, I feel like it's just what we talked about, 5 minutes ago, about a good team stepping up another gear, and it's really hard for a young group to sort of counter that, and that seems what's happened now. The Fire have gone, hey, we gotta get going here. Sydney are playing well.
Shout out to our KO Sports camera crew, always putting themselves in harm's way to get the best pictures for you on their WNBL coverage. Timeout called. That lady on screen is putting on a show. She's got 21 of Townsville's 38, and the Fire lead 38-32. It's an interesting time in the game now for Shane Hill and the Sydney Uni Flames, Laurie.
Well, the difference right now, the noticeable difference to me, is that they aren't getting shots down the floor. So they've got 3 turnovers that have resulted in probably scores for the Fire. So, that just being really precise. You've got to stay focused. You've got to make good leads and be strong with the ball, because Townsville are a good team and they're forcing them to catch the ball a little bit further out than they'd like to right now. And so Sydney just have to refocus and go back to the very basics.
And you mentioned how they were taking care of the basketball in the first quarter. They had 0 at quarter time. They've now got 6. And the Townsville Fire only had 1 in the second term. So 6-1 turnovers alone in the second term.
Yeah, and that's a huge, that's every time you make a turnover, you're not having a shot at the basket.
Coach Shannon Seabohm for the Townsville Fire. Coached the Sydney Uni Flames from 2014 to 2016. Was WNBL Coach of the Year in his first season with the Flames. Now he's watching his star import continuing to add to her points tally. And I think she took a deep breath in. I think we all just need to take a deep breath ourselves as viewers, just seeing what she's put on and genuinely carrying her team on her back here. We're going to see Tina Akuzo check in for the first time today, and Billings takes a well-deserved rest.
So if I were Sydney right now, I would go straight at Akuzo. Yep. I would set up a play, Keely Froling, attack her at the rim, and see if you can get a quick third foul, which would be really demoralizing for Akuzo.
Just correction, Akuzo checking for the first time this quarter. Hasn't checked in since early stages of the first, and the Flames pounce with Kira Rowe hitting her second triple. Been good from deep. The Flames going up 45% as Woods pulls up. Mid-range 2 is good from Courtney Woods.
Nice little shot fake there. Got her defense right out of her stance and was easy to go around her and have a pull-up J.
She's got 5 points so far, Woods. Purcell calls for movement. Kasodwu was guarded, so Froling goes one-on-one with Payne. Payne right there. Once again, a second personal foul so far. Good signs, though, from Froling. One of the taller players out there for the Flames today, using her size and her frame to try and work her way into the paint.
Well, both fouls on Payne and Akuzo have all come from Keely Froling attacking them.
Yep. There is Akuzo. Played the first 90 or so seconds of the first quarter. Only just checked back into the game the past 30 after getting 2 fouls. Beautiful pass there from Reed. Akuzo almost wasn't quite expecting it. Deeble picks up the pace and no foul called. Froling there for the offensive rebound. Purcell and Nakasoglu for 3. Can't get it to go and then missed the offensive rebound because she slipped, and Sutton will get an easy 2 at the other end. And the Fire just crept this lead out to 9 points as we tick towards half-time.
Out of bounds off the Fire, Flames ball.
It'll be Flames ball from the baseline here. Froling from the corner. Deeble hits the 3.
That was a nice drive by Froling, bringing 2 defenders to her and seeing Deeble in the corner where her feet were set, ready to go.
Deeble gets another field goal. She looked really confident there from the corner. She's got 5 points and a nice even spread of scoring from the Flames so far. 10 for Nakasoglu, 8 for Rowe, 9 for Froling. Lots of others hitting the scoreboard. There's an offensive foul.
Offensive foul. He's on number 9 for the Flames.
Called on Freeble there. Deeble, sorry. So the referee puts the ball on the floor and a timeout is called with essentially no shot clock left in this second quarter. The Fire just starting to take control of the momentum of this contest with a 6-point lead. Shane Heal addresses his troops, still searching for that second win of their WNBL season. It's been a tough campaign. That's with Shyla Heal and Lauren Mansfield on the team for games so far, except one. Mansfield missing the recent one. And Shannon Seabohm, his team is 4-4.
You know, it's really nice to see somebody like Funda Nakasoglu stepping up in the absence. You know, she's hasn't got a lot of court time because she's behind Heal and Mansfield, and so when she's gotten this opportunity, it's so good to see how she's shooting the ball with some confidence, leading the team at the point guard position, and you know, has really shone in these last couple of games.
So the Flames regroup here. But you're just hoping that they can peg back the margin here, and even force the Flames, the Fire rather, into a quick shot. Flames and Fire, it is very hot out there. Easily get confused with two teams' nickname. Reed. Woods, Akuzo's there, Sutton, time running out, 1 second to shoot here. Sutton finds a way through, and that's a devastating blow for the Flames. They worked so hard right throughout that first half, but Sutton comes up with a handy 2-pointer just on the stroke of half-time to extend the Townsville lead 46-38 at the main break. And you just hope that doesn't deflate the Sydney Uni Flames, Laurie, as they head into the major break.
Well, it shouldn't. I mean, they have to keep their heads up. I mean, that was an explosive last drive by Sutton. She just got by her player and finished strongly. But they've put on a really good performance this first half. I don't think any of us were expecting it to be, you know, close like this. And Townsville have had to work really hard to have this 8-point lead.
So we had to take a look at some of the first half highlights. The chemistry has been certainly good from the Sydney Uni Flames in the early stages, but the Fire just able to peg their way back in that second quarter. But the early signs, Laurie, from the Sydney Uni Flames were severely undermanned, really promising if you're a Sydney Uni fan.
Exactly right, Ben. So we've got, you know, younger players starting that haven't played many minutes, and they played really well as a team, and their ball movement and their shot selection was really good, and the fact that they took such good care of the ball that first quarter. Not so much the second quarter, and I think that certainly played into the part of Townsville coming up with some easier baskets, but that's the fact is that Townsville upped their defensive intensity. So all of a sudden, passes that they could make before, Townsville are in the passing lane, they're deflecting them, and that's caused the turnovers. So Townsville certainly recognized that they needed to step up, and you know, they did exactly that.
There's your look at the halftime match stats. The Fire leading 46 to 38. The Fire with a couple more steals, and that was off the back of the turnovers as well. Sydney Uni had 7 turnovers in that second quarter alone compared to Townsville's 3. And that may have been a result, Laurie, of the Fire upping the ante defensively. Yeah,
exactly. As I said, that their hands were in the passing lane more. They were making them catch it further out and you know, on the back foot a little bit, and so that they weren't able to move as easily and as freely as they did that first quarter.
Well, let's have a look at some of the standout plays so far in this game, and Keely Froling has been one of the best for the Sydney Uni Flames. A lot of responsibility on her shoulders today, considering she's one of the more senior players on the team at 26 years of age, but she's had a promising start to this one, Laurie.
I loved how she was attacking Akuzo in that first few minutes, and it paid off because Akuzo had 2 fouls after a few minutes and had to sit. So Froling was really influential in that. She just moved well off the ball. She kept going. She nailed that cheeky 3 when she looked down. Love that from her. She hasn't shot that 3 ball much. And again, when somebody else was guarding her, when Payne came on and guarded her, again she attacked it and got Nadine Payne in some foul trouble. Good assist. Yeah, she's been really playing an all-round game and a leader. She's been a leader out there as well.
Speaking of all-round games and just leading by example, Monique Billings is putting on a masterclass. She's already got 23 points so far in 2 quarters, and she's getting them in all different kinds of ways, causing Shane Hill a lot of headaches in the Flames at the moment.
Well, the thing I love about Monique Billings is she's just so confident in her ability. She doesn't try and do too much. She's not a 3-point shooter. She gets the ball. She does her work early, so she gets position, and then she's explosive off the dribble. She's athletic. We can see here her quick hands in there just getting this steal. Defensively, she's rock solid. When she sets a screen, she rolls hard to the basket with the idea that she can come up with these boards. So, you know, she's been really impressive. 23 points, as we see there, when your teammates aren't shooting the ball particularly well from the 3-point line, 3.12, and she's there to clean up the rebounds. You got to love that.
You certainly do. It's the 4th time so far this season that Monique Billings has hit 20 points. We're only at half-time. She's well on her way to a 4th double-double as well, Monique Billings. She's got 6 rebounds to go with her 23 points. As we turn our attention back to last week, Laurie, she was outstanding against the Melbourne Boomers. That was her 3rd double-double of the season. It really is such a privilege to see these players who are WNBA caliber. She was drafted by the Atlanta Dream back in pick 15 in the 2018 draft. 114 WNBA games to her name. You can just see that wisdom and that high basketball IQ on display every time she hits the floor.
It's that, and it's her work ethic as well. She just goes at it really hard, and double-doubles aren't easy to come by, and she's becoming sort of consistent in that. We almost like, oh, I'm sure she'll get that today. You know, obviously she's got 23 points, but 6 rebounds. She'll get another double-double. So it's her work ethic. It's just her attitude. I really like her. She's a competitor. She seems to be really even-keeled. She just goes at it hard and seems to love what she does.
How crucial will she be in particular to the Fire getting into that top 4 as well? Because the Fire probably need a little bit of that point of difference as well. They're very settled from a roster lineup at the moment. But how important is it that Monique Billings is up and firing for them to have some team success later in the season?
Oh, totally. I mean, I think you can see and you mentioned it. She might even be up for MVP.
Yeah.
Status in this competition. So she's crucial. But you know what? The other thing I like about her is that she brings a focus to herself, but then that sometimes opens it up for other players. And she's not afraid to distribute that ball and pass it to, you know, Lauren Nicholson sitting out at the 3-point line. So she's just a real complete complete player and vitally important for Townsville to challenge in that top 4.
So halftime in this game between the Fire and the Flames. The Fire currently leading 46-38. As we take a look, Laurie, you just wanted to acknowledge a couple of really important people in the WNBL at the moment, and specifically some past players that have made the transition into coaching and are really important members of their respective clubs' coaching panel. And they're now assistant coaches.
Well, I think it's always, you know, we want females into the coaching ranks, and I love it when I can see past players that are stepping into those roles. And to be an assistant for a few years is a good thing to learn the ropes. We've got some fantastic coaches, and you can see Shelley Gorman for Sydney. This is her first year as an assistant coach with them. She is an absolute legend and superstar of Australian basketball. So it just gives me tingles to see her back on the court. And then we've got Nat Hurst in Adelaide. This is her second year, and she's so engaged and so involved. And speaking to Chris Lucas, he can't tell you how valuable her input has been with this team. And so, to see her out there, and you can see them conversing. And then we have Belinda Snell for Southside. And as you mentioned yesterday, that was her first game. She had to step in as head coach with, in the absence of Cheryl Chambers, go away with the Opals. So we know what a superstar Snelly is and what a wonderful IQ she has. So to have her involved in there is super exciting as well. And others, Larissa Anderson. Larissa's a head coach in her own right. She's been a head coach in the WNBL and very successful, and hopefully she'll be back in a head coaching capacity sooner rather than later. And others too. Carly Wilson has been a couple of years at Canberra. We love Carly.
Oh yeah,
we know her. And Michaela Dompkins is with Bendigo as well, and Tanya Baxter's with Townsville today, and then Natty Burton was supposed to be with Perth and them, but they've, obviously they've spent all this time in Ballarat, so she's not there. But it's so good. I love the fact that all these past players are getting involved and being in the coaching ranks.
So we've got two females currently who are head coaches as well. You mentioned Larissa Anderson had been a head coach in the past. She was mightily successful with the Dandenong franchise, and now the Southside Flyers. Cheryl Chambers coaching now the Flyers, and she's an assistant coach with the Opals, something you know all about yourself, Laurie. And Tracy York as well, a lot of relief for her yesterday. She got another victory for the Bendigo Spirit as well. How important is it that we do get, and you've slightly touched on it earlier, but that we do get females as senior coaches in the WNBL?
Well, when you look, and we've got 2 out of 8.
Yep.
And when I talk about this, it's nothing, we've got some wonderful male coaches that have coached for many years in our competition that have contributed so much. But how great would it be to have, 5, 6, 7 female head coaches, and the past players, not every past player makes a great coach. Mm-hmm. You have to have a good IQ, and you have to have a desire to want to be in those coaching ranks. But it would be amazing to have, hopefully, just that list that we went through now, to have some of those advance and become head coaches.
It is great signs, and we are certainly very blessed in the WNBL to have such great calibre coaches and certainly players that have made the transition into coaching as well. It's halftime here. It's the Townsville Fire leading the Sydney Uni Flames 46-38. The Flames have been really plucky, as they have been all season, but particularly because they're missing arguably their 2 best players in Lauren Mansfield, who's out through injury, and Shyla Heal, who's part of the Opals lineup at the moment. She's one of 12 players that have been selected for the Opals, and they're Serbia bound at the moment. They've got 3 games coming up in the next 7 days, the Opals, at the FIBA qualifying tournament in particular. How do you think the Flames are coping without Shyla Heal, who plays such an important role in the guard position? Laurie, how have you seen the first half from just the smalls out on the court, and how they're dealing? Because there's a lot of young players that have had to step up in her absence.
Well, I'm really impressed with the players that we see. We've talked about Nagasoglu and how she just looks like it's natural for her. Katie Diebel has come in and I think played really valuable minutes. Doesn't look overwhelmed with the situation. Morgan Yeager as well. So, it's a great opportunity from them, and they'll learn so much by being in this position without Shyla. And the other thing is the team does rely heavily on Shyla and her scoring. So, this is an opportunity for perhaps some others to, work it around and have some others just produce some scoring.
What, just on Charlotte specifically as well. So she's one of 12 players that are currently headed to Serbia. She's only 20 years of age. How important is this specifically for her, this experience going to be? She, she's been a prodigy for a long time, Shyla Hill. She's been talked about, and we all know her story and her connection with her dad. But specifically, how important is this opportunity now with the Opals?
Oh, I think any time you get to put on the green and gold, and especially as a youngster, it's such a wonderful learning opportunity. And so she'll be around some very experienced players there. But having said that, that guard spot is wide open for the World Cup. So, you were no longer have Leilani Mitchell. Tessa Levy will still be in the mix when they come back, but Rochi's there. So it's a great chance to test out Rochi, to test out Shyla Hill, and see where they are on the international stage in the seniors.
Voice of Laurie Chiswick here on our WNBL coverage on KO Sports. It's the Flames and the Fire holding a 46-38 advantage. They had a terrific second quarter, the Townsville Fire, with 28 points to 14 to the Sydney Uni Flames, and able to get this advantage. We talked about how important it was for the Flames to try and continue the momentum they generated in the first quarter and maintain that for the remaining three quarters. The challenge has been laid down by the Fire. Let's see if Shane Heal's team can respond as we get this one underway. Great to have your company wherever you're watching some WNBL basketball on a Sunday. Looks like we're going to get a restart as well. Not quite ready for proceedings to begin.
Just a bit of a redo.
Steph Reed will be receiving the inbounds pass. She got the start today.
Sydney are in a 1-3-1 zone. Lots of talk, lots of pointing.
This comes around from Woods, who's looked really strong, getting lots of good minutes here. Akuzo gets the offensive rebound, and Reed knocks down the three, all nylon.
So it's interesting Lauren Nicholson's not starting this half. She's not in foul trouble. Maybe she's just resting after, or she had maybe a niggle from the Opals camp.
Keep our eyes on that. Purcell is guarded here by Akuzo. Rowe loves the corner, falling short. Woods comes down with the rebound. She's really assured of herself with her more minutes today as Billings comes through. One of her easier shots that she's had to put up today, and she can't get it to go. She's got 23 of Townsville's 49.
And you wanted her to make that because you've picked 37.
Yes. Yes. Could be more. Purcell. Nice foot movement inside and banks it off the glass. It's Kalani showing some nice footwork on the inside.
Great decision by Kalani Purcell, because Akuzo's got those two fouls, and it would be sitting in the back of her mind. I don't want to foul now. I don't want to get a third foul.
Woods, it's a screen, gets one from Akuzo, then kicks it out for Sutton. There was a good look for three and knocks it down. Sutton just starting to find some rhythm. 0 points by quarter time, but now she's got 9 at the start of the third.
Yeah, she was very quiet that first quarter. Now is just quietly going about her business.
A huge point scorer as well, 9 points per game so far this season, as the Fire force a Flames turnover. Just out of the reach there of Morgan Yeager.
That's what I was talking about, just making a good lead and being strong with the ball. But here we see Kalani Purcell just taking it out of Akuzo, and then followed up by a three from Sutton.
Here is Sutton. Inside for Akuzo, kicking it out. Woods, again, assured and putting that up as Billings almost had a second spectacular tip in there. 9 of 11 from the field, Monique Billings. Rowe, guarded by Sutton. Froling. Impressive first half from her. Yeager, open look for three. She can't get it to go. It's a foul. Take the rebound there. Purcell and Akuzo were tangling.
It was a good execution, Sydney. They got through the play, that whatever play was called, and she had a wide open look. It just didn't drop, but good execution.
12-point lead here for the Fire. Billings, Woods, way out for Sutton, working around the perimeter, trying to find something inside here. Reed crossing back over. She is a young Starks competition. Terrific to watch Steph Reid in action. She's up to 11 points now, the second Fire player to hit double figures. Purcell gets rid of Billings and kicks it out for Rowe. For Nakasoglu, you back it from here. Off target, and then Purcell had more time than what she thought she had. Still gets another offensive rebound, and Froling misses a third chance.
So those are ones that Sydney just cannot afford to miss, and then have the answer in reply from Akuzo just diving to the basket.
So Akuzo hits the scoreboard.
Yes.
That's her first score of the game. Out of the Opals camp in past week alongside Lauren Nicholson. Both players not quite getting the final 12 as Kira Rowe was well positioned there and was fouled by Woods as she was attempting the two.
Fire foul, number 7, Courtney Woods, her first.
She almost could have grabbed it, hit the deck, and then had another opportunity, Lauren.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Kira Rowe will be heading to the free throw line. Yet to hit a attempt a free throw all season. So this is our first look at her from the stripe, and she's very successful. Moved to the Flames last year after 3 seasons in the South Side setup. Really strong part of the Victorian juniors side growing up. She went to 6 straight national championships representing Victoria, Kira Rowe. So showing that how strong this basketball pathway is at state level. Sutton. Woods almost fumbled. Reid now only has 4 to shoot. For Woods, for Sutton, for 3. Lovely.
That was a great extra pass by Courtney Wood to her teammate in the corner. It was such good ball movement.
Sutton hits her second triple. Starting to find their range as well, Townsville. They're 7 of 17 from deep.
Shook Sutton, her second team foul for the Fire.
Just suddenly this lead has ballooned out to 19.60 to 41.
Yeah, that sort of feels like that's happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when you are playing a better team, that all of a sudden they kick into gear. And the scoring input from Sydney certainly has dropped and has increased dramatically for Townsville.
Nakasoglu lost control. She tried to work her way inside. Courtney Woods continuing to have lots of minutes on the floor for the Townsville Fire, and the Flames lose control of the Sporting. 5.5 left to play in the third quarter. Great to have you with us. Sunday afternoon basketball, WNBL. First of a double-header. Got Melbourne Boomers and the Perth Lynx from beautiful Gippsland coming up 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Akuzo gets rid of Pizzi easily, kicks it out, and Steph Reid continuing to add to her points tally. Timeout called. Reid takes her tally to 13, and the Fire now have their lead beyond 20. The dish courtesy of Akuzo, who hasn't seen a lot of court time today. But now Shane Heal has got a little bit to think about. His side down by 21 points. Got a young side, Laurie. Had a great start to the game. Just struggling to maintain that intensity as well. What's your message for Shane Heal to the young Flames players at the moment?
Well, I think you have to just talk about controlling the things that you can control. I mentioned that earlier, and really just go back to basics. And the thing is, you have to now be aware that Townsville have upped the defensive intensity. So you've got to be stronger leads, stronger cuts. Be aware that when you catch the ball, you have to square up, and all those little things, those really basic fundamentals, you have to do really well. And take care of the basketball.
Of course, that turnover count is up to 9 now for the Sydney Uni Flames. through the third. Deeble on the court as well. Froling for three. She's feeling it from deep, Laurie.
Oh, yes, Keely Froling. Why not?
Hit 1 of 16 from triple territory prior to this game. Tonight, she's 2 of 2. Reed crossing over and inside the left hand finish despite Beck Pizzi being in her face, gets to go. Reed up to 15.
What a breakout season Steph Reed's having. It's so, you know, she's small, but it's a real indication that, you know, you don't have to be super tall to play this game and play it very well.
Pizzi looking for Froling. Woods charging through. And couldn't quite gather that cleanly. The great intensity shown at the defensive end of the floor by the Fire as we see Keely Froling channeling her in a guard and shooting.
She was a little handle action there and then shooting it. So something definitely must be up with Lauren Nicholson. She hasn't subbed in. Even in that last play, we can see the bench there, and she didn't jump up.
The attempt goes up. Foul is called. Heading to the free throw line here, the Townsville Fire.
Townsville Fire foul, 25, Billings, her first.
64-44 lead here for the Fire. It'll be Funda Nakasoglu. Mentioned that she was part of the WNBL setup for a while. So we just see the top of your screen there, Lauren Nicholson waiting to check back in.
So much for my analysis, the expert analysis.
They're just taking it easy at the moment with Lauren Nicholson. Nakasoglu all the way back in the 2012-13 season, signed a rookie contract with the Boomers. Spent a fair bit of time away from the WNBL. And she's making a big impact for the Flames. We see Nicholson check into the game.
Well, I'm sure they're, you know, the week-long camp for the Opals is always taxing. Everybody, of course, gives it their all because they want to be selected. And
Billings underneath. Remarkably, Laurie, that's her first points of the quarter. She's got 25 now. Go with 8 rebounds. Deeble, the young guard, goes to work. But speaking of young guard, Steph Reed, the desperation on the deck, couldn't quite win the clean turnover. Nakasoglu has a good look there for the mid-range two. Couldn't get it to go off the glass. Foul is called. That's Shira Evans on the floor here.
The foul is on the Fire's number 7, Courtney Woods, her second. The 4th team foul. In for the Flames, number 10, Kira Rowe. For Katie Deeble, and back in as well, number 32, Kalani Purcell.
Desperation from
number 21, Keely Froling.
the young Flames underneath the rack.
Kyra Evans to the line, shooting 2.
Kyra Evans, her 4th game of the season, used sporadically off the bench so far. Signed with the Flames after a 2-year scholarship at the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence. Gets her first free throw to drop.
I think her and Katie Deeble were both at the Institute together and signed with the Flames as some real young up-and-comers.
Nicholson, the pain, who wasn't quite expecting it, now works her way inside and can't quite bank it off the glass, and Purcell comes up with the rebound. Working with Nakasoglu, Purcell sets the screen. Pick and roll action working well. Then she kicks it out, but inaccurate. Frustrated Kalani Purcell, but she's just one of those players that you just know what you're going to get from her every single week, Laurie.
You know, and she was like that with the Melbourne Boomers.
Yep.
Anytime she got on the court, she just has a high work ethic, high IQ. She's you know, we just saw a turnover there, but usually she's a very good distributor of the ball.
Speaking of high IQ, there's Steph Reed kicking it out for Nicholson, for Reed. Puts the ball on the floor for Murray in the corner for 3, doing what she does best, the veteran.
A little bit of a no-look pass from Steph Reed.
Party tricks coming out. Screen set there by Purcell as Nakasoglu. Out by Reed. Now for Purcell, back for Nakasoglu. There's some contact in there.
Fire foul for 12, Nadine Payne
It's fun watching these two matched up on each other, Steph Reed and Funda.
Nakasoglu didn't keep on cutting, but it's worked out okay in the end. That's where Kalani sometimes can maybe be a little too unselfish.
Yes, exactly. I agree that extra pass to Funda was right in amongst traffic. Yep. She's lucky she got fouled.
4 years at college, Utah State. 2 years at Utah State, and 2 at Florida. 2,000 plus points at Florida as well for the Nakasoglu. Now 26 years of age. So still that 20-point lead for the Fire. Reed. Nicholson. McSpadden was cutting, but doesn't matter because Nicholson drives inside, finds some space, gets the 2, and McSpadden will force the Flames to restart. Were you surprised she didn't make the 12, Lauren Nicholson, to go to Serbia?
Oh, I think she's... whenever you talk about that, yes, I think she, she had a brilliant year last year. She's been maybe a little more quiet this year, but she's a great player. And so you go, yes, I think I was surprised she missed out. And then you go, okay, well, who would she replace? Yep. So it's you have to always think both ways, and I'm sure she'd be disappointed, and I'm sure she would have been very close to selection. So, and she'll still be in the mix for the World Cup.
There's Purcell showing off her ability to score on that occasion. She could have gone the pass. She went herself, and then she gets the defensive rebound at the other end. Nice little passage at both ends of the floor there for Kalani Purcell. Evans. Rowe.
The thing I like about Nicholson is she, certainly can score, but she's a really good defender as well.
Brilliant defender.
Brilliant defender. And so, I think that's just so important at any level that you play at.
WNBL Defensive Player of the Year in her second season with the Lightning a couple of years ago, Lauren Nicholson. Doing some great work with the Townsville Fire in recent times. Payne for Nicholson. Back to Payne, who's in familiar territory beyond the arc. Misfiring that time, Nadine Payne. She's 1 of 3 from deep so far. Jaeger. Evans in the post, guarded by Murray. And then turns it over. Nicholson just puts the brakes on, then tries to get around Jaeger. Good defense from Jaeger, though. Forced a tough shot from Nicholson, and the turnover prevails. Evans for Jaeger for 3. Good look, knocks it down. Morgan Jaeger hits the scoreboard. And all but 2 players for the Flames have scored today, as Nadine Payne at the other end with the quick response.
The foul is on the Flames, number 32, Kalani Purcell.
I coached her. I was on the coaching panel when the under-17s went to the World Championships, and Morgan Jaeger was on that team.
Yep.
And she's just such a hard worker, and a real gritty player, just goes after it. So it's always nice to follow players that you've seen at a young age, and Annalie Maley was in that team, yeah. And to see how their careers have gone.
As Purcell had a lot of heat in that pass for Rowe, who missed it, and then Murray took a step too far. Was almost caught in 2 minds, off to the races.
Yeah, whether should I take this, or am I going to pass it to McSpadden in there?
Yeah. So not long left here for the Flames, and they're not going to make it easy, the Fire, either. And a foul is called. Sutton was wearing Jaeger like a glove off that inbounds pass.
I think it was a foot violation.
Okay.
6 seconds left in this quarter.
Evans to Nakasoglu underneath the rack, reverse, can't get it to go. Players contest for the ball, and the Michaela Cox using all her experience and wisdom just to tone it down, making sure no mistakes on the three-quarter time siren. That is another impressive quarter from the Townsville Fire. They continue to kick away on the scoreboard. They lead 73-54 over the Flames. We'll come back right after this with the fourth quarter. The FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup is returning to Australian shores for the first time in 27 years this September. 12 teams, 144 of the world's best players, 38 games across 10 days. And it will deliver plenty of action for Aussie basketball fans. So to sign up for first access to tickets, head to womensworldcup.basketball to get your hands on one of the great sporting events. Just forget great seats as well to one of World Basketball's best events. Ben Waterworth with you alongside Laurie Chiswick as we turn for home. It's 73 Townsville leading the Sydney Uni Flames 54. You just hope from a Flames perspective, if you're a Flames fan at the venue or sitting at home watching on KO Sports, Laurie, that they can keep in touch with the Fire here and hopefully make some indents on that scoreboard in this fourth quarter.
Well, yes, look, I think you'd go in thinking, you know what, I'm not sure we'll win this game, but let's try and keep it to, you know, if they had a 10 to 15 point loss, I would consider that very respectable, given the nature of this game and the players that are available.
It's a 19-point differential between the two sides. It was a 19-point differential the last time these two sides met in December 18. That was 75-56. It's almost exactly the same score, actually. That was across 4 quarters.
Well, the other reason the Flames will want to make sure they put in a good showing this last quarter is because these two teams play again next week.
They do.
And exactly the same scenario will be the case where Heel and Mansfield aren't there. So, you know, they want to, you know, even try and win this last quarter.
Yep, they'll be playing in 6 days' time.
And conversely for Townsville, they would like to send a really strong message and go, you know, we're serious here. We respect you in that, but we are going to try and pile on some points.
And particularly as well, they'll sense an opportunity after the Adelaide Lightning went down to Bendigo yesterday, just making that the gap between 4th and 5th just a little closer. It's a messy start to this quarter for the Flames. Second time lucky they're able to bring it into their front court. Here's Nakasoglu. An exciting game from her. Team high 14 points. Purcell for Froling. Don't tell me it's going to be 3 of 3. That was not her best three-point attempts, but nonetheless the Flames still have the ball.
We could have a highlights reel of Keely Froling's three-point shooting.
She's 2 of 3 now. Keely Froling, 12 points to go with 6 rebounds. Purcell, there's those quick hands on display. Beautiful dish. Evans is rewarded with a 2.
Lovely execution of that play. It's always nice when you call a play and it's executed and you get an easy look and coaches go, that's why we run that play. Yep. That's why we do it.
4 assists now for Kalani Purcell, and that's 8 turnovers for the Fire. One thing to have great court sense, Laurie, but then to actually execute it, have the hands and the skill to pull off a pass like that's another thing.
Exactly.
Evans, Jaeger, hit a 3 in the third quarter, has 1 in the fourth. Good start for the Flames.
That was a very good read by Morgan Jaeger. Her player was following her and she flared instead of coming through, and so got a good look. That was about executing a play but reading the defense at the same time.
First 5 points of the third quarter for the Flames as Jaeger hits her second triple of the game. She's got 6 points. The Flames up to 59. That differential has been reduced to 14. And Shannon Seaborn has called a timeout very early in the fourth quarter.
And he would, because that's, you know, again, you don't want a team to come back and get a bit of momentum and then they tighten up. So he's not taking any chances. He's talking to his charges saying, this is what we want to do defensively. This is what the sort of things we want to do offensively. Monique Billings, she might be back, and no, she hasn't checked in yet.
Neither is Akuzo or Nicholson there, standing behind Seabom here. He's going with a different look to start this fourth quarter. Still plenty of experience out there. Nadine Payne has been in the WNBL. This is her 13th season. 28 years of age, 245 games. So plenty of experience out in the court. And don't come much more experience than Michaela Cox as well, game 2-3-2.
The thing that's great about being able to, in Townsville's case, give some of these players, you know, Nadine Payne and others, the opportunity to play valuable minutes now. This isn't junk time. This is valuable minutes. And so when it comes to playoffs or, you know, whatever the case may be, they're ready. They've played.
That was McSpadden, handing it off for Sutton for Payne. Kicks it right out in the corner to Mia Murray. He can't get that one to drop. Had a good look at the rack there. And the Flames have, despite probably being a little undersized, lead the rebound count by +4. Evans, Jaeger, Nakasoglu. Evans in the post. One-on-one here with Payne. Almost lost control. 4 to shoot for the young gun. Inside for Froling. And there's a foul call. Mia Murray thought she had the timing down pat there. Froling copped some contact just in the nick of time.
Well, they showed the poise out there, those young Flames.
And of course, Keely Froling played a lot of her junior basketball in Townsville, spent 3 years at the Townsville Fire herself. Very familiar with the Fire setup, having another strong game. Sydney Uni Flames leader. Hasn't had a great afternoon from the free throw line, Keely Froling. 3 of 6 from the stripe for her. Payne, Cox, McSpadden, guarded here by Jaeger. Will she go to work on the mismatch? McSpadden fading away. Lovely poise from Lara McSpadden to get the 2.
That was really nice by Laura McSpadden. The mismatch with Jaeger, she didn't try and overdo it. She knew she had the size and that she could shoot over top of her. Good finish.
Evans for Froling. 6 to shoot. Goes up again. Long-range attempt from Froling. Misfires. Evans gets the rebound. Can't get the 2. Nadine Payne comes up with a strong defensive board. 7.5 to play. 5 by 15. Flames just throwing a challenge down here at the start of the quarter. Then McSpadden comes up with a second consecutive field goal.
That was all set up by Sug Sutton. She just ran under the baseline, kept that ball alive. Defense followed her and found that McSpadden was wide open.
Purcell calls for movement. Then goes herself, loses control. Nakasoglu for 3. Misfires. That perfect field goal percentage is taking a bit of a hit today. She's having a lot more minutes. Michaela Cox may have been blocked there by Nakasoglu. Gets the 2 to go. And a timeout is called. Fire extend their lead. Just consecutive buckets here through McSpadden and Cox, their bench players, lifting to ensure the Fire seeing off an early challenge from the Flames in this fourth quarter. Shannon Seabom and Shane Heal will address their respective sides. The Fire with a 79-60 lead over the Sydney Uni Flames.
Great to see that every single person has scored on the Townsville lineup.
Yeah.
They've come in and you know, in some way, shape or form have contributed. And, you know, this margin here right now is with Akuzo with 2 points. And Nicholson 4 points.
Yep.
So, you know, some other players have really stood up. As we would expect, a Billings and a Sutton.
And Reed as well.
Reed, yep.
15 points for her. A terrific afternoon to go with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Billings with 25, but only 2 since halftime. She's got to get 12 for a prediction by yours truly to come to fruition.
I just sense that bit of disappointment, Ben, when you said she's
Well,
only got 2 since halftime.
Yes, that's well read by you, Laurie. She's got 25 and 12 for Sutton as well. We're just looking at the rebound count as well, because the Fire have the height, and you'd probably say the athleticism, but Sydney Uni lead that by +1. Purcell has 9 boards and Froling has 7 for the Flames. Here is Froling. Oh, she's in 3-point territory. Won't put it up. Evans will set the screen here for Diebel to go to work. Lazjowski. 2 to shoot here. Lazjowski's got to put it up, and she does.
She got it off.
But nowhere near the rim. And Cox could have put it up herself. Selflessly went to McSpadden, who's doing some really good work in the paint this quarter. Couldn't get that hook shot to drop. She's such a promising talent.
I like that McSpadden, anytime she gets the opportunity, she takes advantage of it.
And then she emphatically sends it back in 2 rows back of the Qudos Bank Arena, and the Fire girls love it.
On cue there, as we're talking about her, demonstrates her athleticism.
Double-handed block if you don't mind. That is emphatic as it gets.
Her teammates certainly liked it.
Remarkably, that's the first rejection of the game. We're halfway into the final quarter. Cox, McSpadden, can she do it offensively? She can. She's having a big 4th quarter, Lara McSpadden. The Newcastle Hunters prospect having a terrific final quarter. Diebel inside. That's a lovely left-handed finish. Gets the margin back under 20.
Was shot with a lot of confidence. I mean, she was going up against a much bigger player there and wasn't taking a backward step.
Cox. Sutton. Akuzo. Works her way in towards the paint now. Guarded by Lazjowski, missing the left-hand attempt, and that is deemed off Akuzo's hands. Just hasn't been Zatina Akuzo's afternoon at the Qudos Bank Arena today.
In fact, I think she's calling for a sub, maybe.
She'll stay out there for the time being. You look at your bench points, 23 to 14 in favour of the Fire. As Laurie mentioned, every single Fire player listed to play today has hit the scoreboard. Pretty similar story, though, for the Sydney Uni Flames. Only Mahady and Kalia haven't scored, and Kalia's hasn't seen any court minutes yet, and Mahady's had very limited time. Despite the scoreboard at the moment, Laurie, there's a lot to take away for a Sydney Uni Flames fan, and for Coach Shane Hill. He's had a lot of opportunity here to have a look at some players who wouldn't normally get the minutes that they would previously.
Oh, I agree, and they've just kept fighting. They haven't dropped their heads, they haven't dropped their shoulders, they've just gone at it hard.
Sutton, though, has lifted her output since quarter time. She's now 4 of 6 from the field. 14 points for Sug Sutton. There's a significant field goal percentage differential between the two sides, though. 64% the Fire, 36 the Flames. Lazjowski going inside, guarded by Akuzo. Pizzi. Pizzi hits the scoreboard. She's got 4 points. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Another former Southside Flyer doing some nice work at the Sydney Uni Flames.
So by my calculations, it's an even 4th quarter so far.
Yep. It's 19 points at 3-quarter time, and still the 19 points. A big win for the Fire, you'd think, nonetheless, but good effort by the Flames if they can just at least win this quarter. Sutton kicks it out. Payne for 3. Beautiful. Lovely stroke from Nadine Payne.
Well, considering how poorly they were shooting the 3 ball in the first half, they're now shooting it at 40, 43%. So that's just, they've massively upped that.
Jowski tried at the other end, couldn't hit that free. They get a fresh 14 seconds Sydney Uni to work with. Inside down by 22 points. Deeble steps back for three. It's all nylon, but unfortunately didn't go through the rim. Just flicked the net. And it trickled out of bounds. So as Laurie mentioned, these two teams will meet just in 6 days' time. This game will be played in Townsville, though. 6-day break. And the Sydney Uni Flames have an 8-day break before they play the Boomers. FIBA with a slightly tougher run in this rejigged fixture. They play Sydney Uni, then Bendigo 5 days later, then the Caps 2 days after that. So they've got a bit more of a busier fixture coming up over the next couple of weeks, the Townsville Fire.
And, you know, everybody has to just be so flexible with this, you know, the fixture and the games coming up, and just to get our season done and be able to, you know, get some playoffs in here. And I think the clubs have been fantastic in their effort and their approach and the way they've handled it this year.
This looked like a tired pass from Akuzo there as the Flames pounce on the turnover. See McSpadden waiting to check back in for the Flames. Jaeger. Pizzi was cutting inside. Here's Kalia. She's having some court time now. And good body position there from Jowski, but the pass was just wide of her from Rowe, and Townsville gobble it up. So we get into the final 2 minutes of this contest. Murray in and out. A lot of opportunities today. Mia Murray. She's 2 of 7 overall from the field. Quintessentially, most of those attempts have been from deep. Kalia, lovely crossover on Cox. Pizzi, as Jowski calling for it in the post, and again, just fumbling at the wrong time.
And that's just inexperience, that connection. I mean, the look was right, the positioning was right. It just, you know, she was up too upright, and she didn't have a strong base to be able to, you know, have any physicality.
Comes up with the steal, though. Nice body position. Kuzo is jogging after at the moment. And at the other end, the Sydney Uni Flames able to get the 2. There's still a chance to win the quarter. It's a 20-point lead for the Fire. Payne looking for the cut inside of Murray. Just off target again. But, still a chance here for the Townsville Fire to add to their lead.
This will be a really solid win for Townsville. You know, with a couple of their players coming from the Opals camp, and you know, they'll. It hasn't been pretty necessarily, but it's a good, solid win.
It's a final minute here from the Qudos Bank Arena. These young Flames have shown ample spirit today as turnover. The travel nation called.
Well, I think that's right, Ben. If we take anything from this game, it's really how courageous the young Sydney group have been, and you know, there's been some nice signs. We knew it was always an uphill battle, and that the chances are they weren't going to, you know, win, but they've certainly demonstrated some good things, some good signs.
Scoreboard perspective, it's gone to script, I think, as a lot of people would probably think, but at times it certainly hasn't felt like a 20-point differential between the two sides.
Well, to be honest, I thought it could be a 40-point loss for them.
Kalia, Pizzi, Jaeger, thought about the pass into the corner, works her way inside and loses control. It'll be a fireball with 16 seconds remaining in the game. Maybe one more time for the Fire to try and just add to that lead that they have. The scoreboard perspective, pretty comprehensive. Good to see Sutton, though. That's a positive sign. Had a really strong last 3 quarters this game. They're not going to take any risks here, the Fire. They're going to wind down the clock. And after a first quarter scare, the Townsville Fire come up with a pretty comprehensive 20-point victory. Townsville 86, the Flames 66. with a terrific individual performance from Monique Billings in the first half, setting the tone. Steph Reed taking over in the third quarter along with Sutton, and just doing enough in the fourth quarter, Laurie, to ensure they get the W against what was a pretty plucky and brave Flames outfit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the Townsville Fire will go, okay, we got that one, we tick it off, we move one win up the ladder, and that's what the mentality they have to have. They definitely have to beat the teams below them and then start going, well, we need to challenge, because their last two losses were against teams in that top bracket.
Yep.
And so they've got to get better each time in order to challenge those teams.
So we have a look at some of the highlights from throughout the game, and Keely Froling showing off her guard work there, hitting a couple of three-pointers throughout the game. And you have to say, Keely Froling, Kalani Purcell, we talked a lot about the young players for the Flames today, but Froling had 13 and 7. Kalani Purcell, 6 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple of steals as well. So they're senior players stepping up, but ultimately just the class of the Fire, the experience just proving too strong. Sorry,
Katie Diebel was just on vision there, and I liked what she showed when she came out on the court and had some really good minutes for Sydney.
Yeah, certainly some great signs from her. Nakasoglu with a team-high 14 points for the Sydney Uni Flames, 11 for Kira Rowe and 13 for Keely Froling as well. Sydney Uni Flames scoring 66 points. And the Townsville Fire with 86. And scoring 25 of those 86 points today was Monique Billings, who's been good enough to join us courtside from the Qudos Bank Arena. Congratulations, Monique, on a pretty comprehensive victory in the end. But this young Sydney Uni Flames side gave you certainly a lot to think about in the first quarter. What was the message at quarter time to ensure you were able to run away with this victory over the final 3 quarters of the game?
Yeah, every team in this league shows up to play night in and night out, so we knew that we couldn't just waltz in here, especially on their home floor. We knew that we had to bring our best game, and they really gave it to us in that first quarter.
Monique, we really love watching you play. You have lots of different strings to your bow, so to speak, and are you enjoying playing with this Townsville outfit? Because it certainly looks like you are.
Totally. This team, a bunch of selfless individuals. I'm so blessed to call them my teammates. They really just bring me alongside of them every single day. Everyone showed up when their number was called. I got to give a shout out to Lara McSpadden. She's at home today. She showed out, but just the whole team. I'm just really grateful and blessed to be here with these ladies.
And you mentioned Lara McSpadden. She had a terrific fourth quarter in particular, but we really love the game right throughout the season so far of Steph Reed. She's only 167 centimetres in our talk, Monique, but she, plays with such grit and determination. What's it like to play alongside a young gun like Steph Reed?
Toughest guard I've ever played with. Wow. I wish I could take her with me to the WNBA, and I mean that. Like Steph, she just gets everyone going. She's a great leader on and off the court. She pushes me, encourages me, and does that for everyone on the team. So, yeah, shout out to Steph.
Monique, have you noticed a big difference in the style of play or the competition, the WNBL, compared to the WNBA?
Yeah, the WNBL, it seems like a lot of these ladies have been playing together for a very long time, so everyone seems to have that chemistry and just know how each other plays. So that's taken me some getting used to, because people just are sharp out here and really know what they're doing on the skill-wise. So yeah, it's been an adjustment in some ways.
So a lot of imports come to Australia sort of with the idea of, can I improve various aspects of my game? Is that something you found in Townsville under Coach Shannon Seabon?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Shannon is all about trying to just help all of us get better, and he wants me to be a better player going into my WNBA season. So he gave me some goals at the beginning of the season that I should try to reach in every single game, and him and his assistant Mason have been great in just trying to pour into me and feed into me to help my game. So when I go back into the WNBA, I'm great too.
Well, Monique, I just have to share a little secret with you up here. The commentator here, Ben, he was hoping that you would get, he bet that you would get 37 points. So
that was halfway through the second minute.
Yeah.
But you didn't get to see a lot of court time after that. But nonetheless, we were pretty happy with your performance tonight. Talk us when you were in that rhythm individually. When you were in that rhythm in that first half, take us inside your head and what it's like when you're in that rhythm offensively.
Offensively, I mean, I just need to do what I can for my team. I know that I'm a vet, I'm a leader on this team, so I need to just bring that energy night in and night out. It's not always easy, but my teammates make it easier for me to do so. So, yeah, just trying to set the tone. I think that's going to be a big thing, and really just trying to get my teammates involved. Like, it's not just me. Like, I want my team to. We got into a flow and a rhythm, and that's when I'm at my best. That's when we're all at our best.
And Monique, just one more before we let you go. How are you coping with that tropical heat of Townsville, which can be a bit confronting, I suppose, when you first come to Australian shores?
Man, I'm thriving out here. You see the skin, you see the curls. I get to wear my crop tops out here. I love me some Townsville weather.
And we love having you in Australia and playing with the Townsville Fire. Monique, congratulations on a great performance today and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
What a delight to have her as part of the WNBL, Laurie.
Well, what a, such a wise head,
Yeah.
just the comments she made and the way she approaches it. And she is a vet and she knows it and she's bringing it. And, the word you use, a delight. She is a delight to watch in this competition.
Let's have a look at some of the key numbers so far from this game today with the Townsville Fire able to get the victory over the Sydney Uni Flames, 86-66. See the steal count up pretty high, 11-5, and that came off a turnover count that was 19-11 in favour of the Sydney Uni Flames. But the Flames had +4 rebounds, Laurie. They were very good off the glass today.
Well, they were, and as we said, that was just that's an effort thing. That's a battle thing. So, they would be really happy with that. I saw them trying to block. Actually, I saw somebody try to block out Monique Billings. I think it was Debo. I thought, oh, good luck. But they were, at least the effort was there.
No, certainly, and that has been a key trait of the Sydney Uni Flames right throughout this season so far. They have put in terrific effort right throughout. We've got one more game coming up in our KO Sports doubleheader as well. Laurie and I will be around for that, so don't you go anywhere, Laurie, because we're having a good look at the Melbourne Boomers and the Perth Lynx. What a way to finish off your weekend of hoops, a top 4 battle between two of the best teams in the WNBL.
Oh, can't wait for this one. We'll just take a little bit of break and then we're back and it's going to be a hot game, let me tell you.
Yeah, we're heading to the beautiful southeast of Victoria to the Gippsland Regional Indoor Sports Stadium. Both teams without a lot of key players, but that certainly won't deter from the contest. There's still plenty of stars out there and a lot to play for. Great working alongside the great Laurie Chiswick as always. We've got one more game to go, the Boomers and the Lynx, but on behalf of Laurie and the entire hard-working team at the Qudos Bank Arena, this is Ben Waterworth signing off where the Townsville Fire have got their 5th win of their WNBL season. And it didn't come easy for a lot of the game. The Fire 86 defeating the Sydney Uni Flames 66. Good afternoon.